So I fucked up and watched Splice again. So I saw Splice initially when it came out in theaters. Like, I don't remember if I went with anybody or if it was because my sister worked there and we got that free Thursday night screening thing. But I definitely watched it when it first came out. And when I saw it was on Netflix, I was like, oh, Splice! That's like a bad movie, and I really like bad movies. But the thing about Splice is, it's not a bad movie. It's fucking awful. So here's the thing. You can watch Splice for yourself. It's on Netflix as of September 2020. If you're watching this not in September 2020 and it's not on Netflix, please do not come for me in the comments. Or you could listen to me like tell you what was in the movie and then also listen to me complain about it, because that's what this video is gonna be. I'm gonna complain about Splice for an amount of time that I have no idea what it's gonna be yet. So I'm just gonna break the movie down really quick. We have our two main people are Clive and Elsa, and they're genetic scientists that are working on splicing DNA to make animal hybrids for a company that's called Nucleic Exchange Research and Development, or Nrrdeh. So their work produced two different vermiform thingies. One's named Fred and the other one's named Ginger. Ginger is the older of the two, and also they both look kind of phallic, but either way, they totally mate and get along, and it's great in the beginning scenes. But after Fred and Ginger are successfully paired, they have bigger ambitions to make a human DNA spliced phallic creature thing. They explain this idea to their money people, and their money people are like, heck no, that's not a thing that we're gonna do. And then, so instead of listening to their money people, they decide to just fuck off into their science lab and figure out how to splice the human DNA with a whole bunch of other animal DNAs all by themselves, because you wouldn't be able to find those files. So anyways, obviously they find the solution, and then, like, Elsa gives Clive a female donor DNA sample, and they totally make it, like, a little embryo or spermy thing. Listen, I'm no science. But, so they make one, right? And they're gonna go put it in the cryo-freeze, because that's also another good place to put your super illegal science project. Is that your work? But instead of doing that, like, Elsa runs off to the fake uterus in their laboratory, and then there's like a whole moment of crisis where Clive's like, we can't do this, but she's like, look, it's already happening. If you really don't want to do it, just hit abort. And then Clive has, like, I don't know, an existential crisis, or is like, I'm gonna play God or whatever, and just lets the thing be artificially inseminated or whatever. So that's all good. So the hybrid thing is born, and it, like, stings Elsa because they have to manually birth it through the fake. Okay, so this part I really don't understand. Like, they end up just, like, evacuating the bottom part of it and, like, C-sectioning it, I guess, anyways. So I don't understand what the point was if they could just do that and it would have been birthed safely. Why? But anyways, she gets stung, and then she seizes up, and he gives her an EpiPen, and everything's fine, and then the hybrid thingy looks like a little spermy. Oh, I also forgot to add this part in. There's, like, this nice shot in the background of, like, a whole bunch of, like, notorious couples DNA things. Like, it's fucking great. So they put it in one of those things that you put preemie babies in, and eventually Clive is like, I'm gonna kill it, and then they go in, and they're like, oh no, it's already dead. But then he leaves the room, the containment center that it's in, and turns out it just hatched from this giant sperm thing, and then this adorable little fucking thing. Honestly, it is so cute. This CGI is so fucking adorable. I would keep it. It's stupid cute. So it's just running around, and Clive is like, oh, I'm gonna gas the chamber, I'm gonna do it. Elsa, I'm gonna do it, you don't make me do it. So she takes her mask off, like, total fucking power move, like, bitch, you gotta gas me too then. So he doesn't, obviously, and they end up coaxing it to be chill and whatever. Oh wait, sorry, they don't, they don't coax it to be chill at this point. They, like, end up gassing it anyways, but it doesn't kill it, it just, like, knocks it out. They then find out that the thing is aging rapidly as well. And, you know, they still have, like, that whole Clive wants to kill it, and Elsa's like, no, don't. So, anyways, back to real-life science that they should be doing. Also, like, the place where they have this illegal science experiment kept is, like, somewhere where no one ever goes. I guess apparently, even though in real life work, they can hear it screaming through the vents and just nobody decides to check that out. Very good. Great work, guys. But anyways, so while they're at work, Clive vaguely hears from his brother, because he works with his brother Gavin. But Gavin's like, hey, some weird shit's going on with Ginger about her hormone levels or whatever. And Clive, like, blows it off because he's hearing his illegal science experiment screaming through the vents. So he turns up music, and then this guy goes like, hell yeah, rock music or whatever. Great. So then after that, we cut to a scene where they're trying to feed the baby thing, and it won't eat the, like, kale slurry that they're trying to give it. But Elsa drops her candy, her not Tic Tac candy, and it loves it. It fucking loves that candy. That same candy that Elsa loves, this thing loves. But honestly, this thing is so adorably ridiculous. Like, I fucking love it. It's so cute. I hate it, but I love it. It's stupid cute. After this, there's like a financial come to Jesus talk with their money man. And then there's another scene where there's like a weird memory box for Elsa and like her terrible childhood. And then the next shot with the human hybrid animal thing, we see that they have now put a dress on it and told it that its body is gross and shameful and she should cover up immediately. Elsa is then trying to teach the thing like how to spell words out and stuff, and she's like spelling Elsa, me, that's me, I'm Elsa. And then the thing says, no, you are not Elsa. And then it spells out nerd. And then we get this scene.
Nerd. Yeah, I'm a nerd.
And then Clive walks in and he's all like, what are you doing? And she's like, she's making connections. And then she eventually, Elsa, I don't remember exactly how this happens, but Elsa is like, her name is Dren, which is nerd backwards. During this scene, Gavin tries to sneak in, but totally fucking fails his sneak check. And Dren totally fucking nat 20s it and almost kills Clive's brother. So then they realize, oh shit, we have to move her. Because this place is getting cleaned or renovated or something that I don't remember. It's not important. It's time to move the baby. At this point, the movie is making it abundantly clear that Elsa clearly wants to be this thing's mom. For reasons. But instead of moving this thing to another place where they can't feasibly get caught, they just move it into the basement of their work. Guys, really, if you are like working in a place where there are places you can go that you have never been in before, maybe check them out. Maybe somebody's got some adorable little illegal science project down there. Don't do it like Gavin did, because then you'd probably be dead, but check them out. Who knows? So then Dren is like getting sick and Elsa's like, do something, Clive, please. And he's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I know as much about this thing as you do. And she's like, I don't know, just do something. So they move her into a sink, not a tub, a sink that is large enough to hold this thing and to like cool off her fever because she has a fever. And all of a sudden Clive is just like, man, we're in too deep. We gotta get rid of this illegal-ass science experiment, otherwise we're going straight to jail. So then he begins to drown her. I forgot to mention earlier in the film, they were doing an x-ray on her, and they found this other spot, and they were like, what this? And Elsa was like, liver or lungs or something? And Clive was like, no, that lung or liver. I don't remember exactly. So anyways, he's drowning her, and then all of a sudden, she stops fighting, and then she's breathing underwater, because of course she is. They spliced her with all of the DNA. Duh. So then they're just downstairs in the basement of their work, that is for whatever reason set up like an apartment, and they have like the curtains drawn so Dren can go to sleep and whatever, and they're on their totally normal basement facility couch, and then they start, you know, adult times in it, and Dren totally watches, so that's awkward. I got chilly. So they go back to paid science work, and they're doing a presentation for people of Ginger and Fred to be like, look, their love bond is so harmonious and beautiful. But of course, like, while they're doing that, they fucking kill each other. And it is a bloodbath. Like, oh my god, seriously, did Quentin Tarantino, like, direct this shot? Because why are they so filled with blood? Jesus, I didn't know they were in the splash zone. So this happened because after Ginger and Fred, like, mated, Ginger's sex changed. So after this, they gotta move Dren to a new place. And I'm pretty sure it's because Gavin was like, bro, why'd you even make this legal science baby? And Clive was like... So Clive's all like, where are we gonna move her? And Elsa's like, to that farmhouse that I totally own. And he's like, what? And she's like, well, it's not really mine, it's hers, alluding to her terrible, terrible mother. And Clive's all like, she's done been dead. And Elsa's like, well, still fuck her. I mean, if you have a terrible mom, yeah, do that. Still fuck that bitch. But, like, honestly, sell the house, make yourself some money. Like, at least you get some kind of, like, gain out of it. Even though, I guess this is a gain. You get to hide your illegal science daughter there. What a turn! Fuck you, Mom. I'm gonna raise my illegal science daughter in your shitty barn. So they move her to this insanely excluded, like, farmhouse with a barn in the middle of the woods where no one can see what they're doing, and they still lock her up inside the barn so no one can see her in case people are illegally hunting on her property. So... Huh? Sorry. Before they lock her up in the barn, she runs off. As soon as she gets there, they're like, come on, Dren, we're going into this house. Like, you're used to facilities. You're used to being indoors. And Dren's like, no, I'm too scared. I'm just gonna fuck off into the woods that I've never been in before because that fucking makes sense. So they catch her, and she had, like, found a bunny and is eating it. So her face is filled with blood. But that's okay, because it's cute. So after this, there's a point where Elsa tries to, like, just discipline Dren a little bit, and Clive is all like, oh my god, no, don't do it. So Clive and Elsa go into the house, and it shows Elsa's shitty room when she was a kid. We also find out that they have set up a whole bunch of nanny cams at some point to watch Dren, or those nanny cams were already there. But anyway, so they have them set up so they can watch Dren be fucking bored in a barn. She's like a teenager now, and I mean, we are treated to a scene in which she, like, puts on a crown way too aggressively. And then, like, quickly after that, we see that Dren has absorbed the beauty standards of Barbie, but this Barbie is not like Barbie. Her hair's kind of fucked up, and she's looking a little rough. But even so, Dren's like, oh no, I'll never be pretty like this plastic doll because I'm hairless. Then we get a scene with her and Elsa, and they're spelling out with the Scrabble words, and Dren writes, or not writes, but spells out tedious and is like conveying to them like, hi, I'm bored, I want to go outside, please. And they have, like, you know, a typical mom and teenage daughter argument, except the teenage daughter can't scream and call her mom a dumb bitch. So, Elsa loses on her and starts yelling at her, and Clive is like, no, we cannot do a discipline. And then Dren just jumps out the window that's on the roof of the barn, because she could do that whenever she wanted to, and continues to have that ability throughout the rest of the movie, but she just doesn't. So anyways, Dren is on the roof. Clive and Elsa go up to the roof, and they're like, no, Dren, do not leave. And Dren, like, falls backwards, and then it's revealed that Dren has wings. Clive is like, Dren, don't leave us, I love you. And Dren, who has never heard those words before and cannot have any kind of context to what that means, runs to him and hugs him and, like, looks around real weird, and it's like, oh, she's got a weird thing for her dad. I forgot to mention that at some point since moving into the barn that Dren had found a cat and adopted it as her own, which is super cute. Hell yes. Of course she would want a cat. Cats are super snuggly and adorable, especially if it just lets you pick it up like that. A barnyard cat that just lets you pick it up? That's a nice fucking cat, guys. But anyways, her fucking annoying mom, Elsa, finds it and totally tells her, Dren, you can't have this cat. You could be allergic. Even though, like, she's cuddling up to the cat. She's clearly not allergic. You're just being a bitch, Mom. So after that scene, we get a scene with Clive and Dren, where Clive is like, hey, I know you're sad and whatever, but, like, let's listen to music and dance. So they listen to music and dance, and this is where the movie, like, no, it was the barn roof scene when he said, we love you, or I love you, or whatever it is, that's when the movie started going down the fucking hill. So they're dancing, right? And Dren is just making all these adorable Betty Boop-ass animal noises, and he's all like, Clive is all like dancing with the pseudo-daughter he just raised. Keep that in mind. He just helped raise this thing. It's so gross. So there's a lot of shots of Dren not like suggestively, she's not doing anything suggestive, but like just the filter of the shots and the way they're shooting it like it's a love scene. Like, oh, we're falling for each other. And then at some point during their dance, Clive just breaks it off and goes back inside and talks to Elsa and is like, it's your DNA. It wasn't some random woman's DNA. I just figured it out. Good job, Clive. Glad you got there, bud. It only goes downhill from here, guys. Oh, I nearly forgot this, but she's all like, she admits to it or whatever, and they have like this weird conversation about it, and he makes such a dick fucking comment about her family history that I was like, wow, dude, wow. So then there's another scene where Elsa tries to make good with Dren by returning her pet cat, and it's like, hey, basically I changed my mind, you know, you can have this pet cat. And Dren is being such a bitch. Such an awful, awful, horrible thing. She fucking looks at Elsa, and then looks at the cat, and uses her dumbass snigger and, like, murders the cat. This scene pissed me off so much, because I fucking love cats, and I can't have cats. And this dumb bitch was out here like, fuck you, Mom, I'm gonna murder this animal. And honestly, like, one of the signs that your child is a serial killer is that it kills small animals. So at this point, Elsa slaps Dren in the face, and then Dren is, like, mad and, like, tackles her, and then steals the barn key that Elsa wears around her neck like a fucking latchkey kid. So once Dren unlocks the door to the barn, she is about to escape, and Elsa kicks her ass and knocks her out. So after that, Dren is tied to a table, and Elsa begins to cut off the dress that they put her in, which essentially strips her of her humanity. It's just like one of those demoralizing, dehumanizing things that people do, which is like totally shitty. Like, I mean, she doesn't even need to do that, but she's just doing it. So anyways, during this time, Elsa amputates her little tail stinger thing, because honestly, that just makes sense. If she's gonna be attacking things and murdering small animals and trying to escape, that's a big danger zone. I'm just saying, like, for the sake of, like, anybody who ends up in her path, if she clearly can't, like, rationalize with people or anything like that, she's like could you imagine if every fucking teenager had, like, just a murder tale? Okay? That's not okay. Teenagers cannot have murder tales, is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, I side with Elsa on this point. Clive walks in and he's all pissed because it's like, how dare you take away the capacity for our pseudo-child to murder? Hot take, Clive. Good one. So after that, Elsa goes back into work because some shit with DNA is getting fucked up and they need, like, the gene splicing thing or whatever to work right. So she takes Dren's, like, tail bit and brings it in and does the science to make the thing work. And when she's leaving, Barlow's all like, you're done for it. Like, everything's fucked. And she's like, no, I just fixed everything overnight. Have some real scientists check it out, bitch. Bye. And then, you know, they do. So the movie takes this stance that it is what Elsa did was completely wrong. And now Clive is coming in to the rescue to be Disneyland dad. Giving dick dad. Sorry. Elsa's taking a stress nap. Clive is watching Dren on the nanny cams and is like siphoning through the nanny cams like, Dren, where are you? And it turns out she is still naked and in the giant vat of water, and she's swimming seductively in front of the camera for it, and then Clive reaches his hand out to it, to this computer screen, and then touches the computer screen, and as he touches the computer screen, Dren also touches the camera lens. Fucking hate it. So shortly after that, Clive goes into the barn because everything's awful. So he goes into the barn, and the first thing that Dren does when she sees him is go over to him and kiss him. And he goes, "You can't do that." And then they start making out. And then, of course, Dren apparently overwhelms him with her pheromones, even though we weren't paraded with a bunch of shots of him, like, you know, kind of being into her before this. Then Clive has sex with his pseudo-daughter that he helped raise from birth. Clive just goes ahead and, you know, throws away a 7+ year relationship with Elsa, and it's because Dren's pheromones are so strong. They're too strong for this weak man. But then, oh no, guess what? Guess what's worse than walking in on your partner having sex with someone else? It's walking in on your partner and they're having sex with the pseudo child that you two just raised together. Why? So just Elsa walking in is enough to, like, break the pheromones? Like, Clive is like, oh no, I'm all of a sudden not under, like, the spell of the pheromones now, so now I can stop having sex with Dren, who, by the way, was about to kill him because it didn't even matter that Elsa, like, cut off her, like, little stinger thingy. It grew right back when she was having sex with her pseudo-dad. You might be saying to yourself, how could this possibly get worse? This is so dumb. Dude is so weak to pheromone that he just be like, whatever, pseudo-daughter, I'm just gonna toss away the 7-year relationship. And also, pheromone too weak if somebody walks in. Dren, for no reason, knows that's embarrassing and would stop a pheromone, like, assault on her pseudo-dad. I hate it. I fucking hate it. So they stop having sex, and then there's, like, an argument. For some reason at this point, this is when they decide, like, science project is over. They're gonna go kill Dren, I guess. But then they go back to the barn and Dren is, like, dying, so guess you didn't have to do that. So they bury Dren along with the doll that reminded her that she has no fucking hair, and they start burning everything from the barn. At this point, Gavin and Barlow show up. Barlow is their money man, and Barlow's all like, I know that there was human DNA in that sample that you fixed our fuck-ups with, Elsa. And Elsa's all like, what? Or Clive is like, what? Or whatever. Gavin, like, sold them out that, like, yeah, they have a DNA human creature thing, and that's why there's human DNA in that sample that we had to isolate or whatever for science, that because we were losing money. You can tell I had a really good grip on what the fuck was going on in their actual science paid lives. Great. So Barlow's, like, pissed and is like, where is it? I want to see it, right? And then Elsa throws the shovel at him, and Elsa's like, she's already dead. You can dig her up yourself, right? And then we get this great scene where Dren's not dead. Dren was just changing. Like before, remember how before, like, she had that fever and they put her in the water and then she changed because she had aquatic lungs, and now look, wow, amazing. It's like, it's almost like they're bad at science. So Dren shows up and snatches Barlow off of the ground and murders him. And then, like, everyone freaks out and starts running around or whatever, and then Dren grabs Gavin next, and Clive is like, my brother, I'm not leaving without my brother, and Elsa's all like, we gotta get the fuck out of here, blah blah blah, right? And then Clive drops the flashlight that he had into a lake or a body of water, and instead of running, because the moon is out and it's pretty well lit, guys, but instead of that, he's all like, no, I need it. So he picks up a big stick and starts fishing around for the flashlight like a smart man. And then he grabs onto something and he's like, oh, I got it. And then guess who gets yanked into the body of water? Yeah, it's that dumbass Clive. Goma, you're in the shot now. So, like, at this point, this is when we see that Dren has undergone the same changes as Ginger. Foreshadowing. And Dren is now a male of the unnamed species that they created. And what this says about the male species of the species that they created is that they're terrible. They're just, no. Clive makes it back out of the water and then he, like, passes out because that's how it has to happen. So he's passed out, and Elsa's like looking at him, looking at Dren, looking at Clive, looking at Dren, looking at Clive, looking at Dren, and Elsa's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. So she starts running, and then Dren chases her, and catches up to her, and then Dren like tackles Elsa or whatever, and Elsa's like, what do you want? And Dren says Dren's first words. So great, yeah. Then we get, Clive wakes back up and is going through the woods to find them. And then, like, a shot of Elsa being raped by her, I guess, son now? Fuck, I hate this movie so much. This is such a dumb fucking scene I don't fucking understand. Why? Why did Clive have to fuck his pseudo-daughter? Why is this scene happening? Fuck you. Not like you, the viewer, but, like, you, the writer of this script, fuck you. So, like, Clive finds them. I fucking hate this scene so much. I hate, since, like, it was alluded that Clive had, like, a fucking thing for, Dren, I was like, oh, I blacked all this out, because it's fucking stupid, and it's bad, and it's terrible, and no one should have to watch this. So, as I was saying, Clive catches up to them, and he impales Dren, which, doesn't bother Dren too much, because he just gets, oh no, I'm impaled. Take this fucking thing out. And then, like, hits Clive? I think he hits Clive. And, like, Clive falls over. And then Elsa gets back up. And she picks up a rock and smashes Dren's head. And then, but didn't kill him. So then she picks it up to do another. And, Dren looks at her in some kind of way. And Elsa's like, my child, and doesn't land the final blow at that moment, and then Dren takes that moment to murder Clive with the stingy apparatus that Clive was so upset that Elsa removed, and then Elsa brains him. So great. And then after this, it keeps going. This movie is not over yet. We get greeted with a scene that's like fucking Elsa in the high-rise bougie ass, like, I guess, office of, like, the French woman who is, I think, the head of the money peoples. Whatever. And she's all like, thanks for signing this NDA, or however French people sound, I don't care. This movie is garbage and no one should watch it. And Elsa's all like, no problem. And the French woman's all like, we're gonna be signing patents for years with all this information. It's so great that you guys did this. And Elsa's all like, right. And then, fuck. Elsa stands up, and of course she's pregnant, because it just has to get continually worse. And at first I was honestly like, how do they know it's not, like, Clive's baby? Because it could be Clive's baby. But she's, like, pregnant to the point where you can see it, so that's, like, an amount of time. So they've probably done an ultrasound, and they probably know that it's, like, Dren's fucking baby. And oh my god, I hate it here. But, so anyways, Elsa stands up and she walks to, like, the bougie-ass, insane windows of this fucking high-rise office, and is just standing there, and the French woman comes up behind her and places a hand on her shoulder, I think it is, and is all like, no one would blame you if you just didn't go through with it. And it's like, bitch, she's already, like, she's about to pop. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and Elsa's all like, nah, dog, it's fine. Like, totes my goat's cool. I'm gonna have this thing. Cool. We're gonna solve so many, human problems with it, I guess. Like, just fucking setting it up for a sequel, Splice 2? Are you fucking kidding? So, like, the fuck is this movie trying to say? And I have a lot of questions. Like, why is she just completely void of hair? Like, mammals have hair. And birds at least have feathers. I don't get it. I also want to know why, like, all of these hybrid creatures have, like, such a phallic beginning to them. I also want to know, like, what is this movie trying to say about, like, how we traditionally see masculine and feminine types? Like, clearly it means to say, like, I'm saying, like, too many times. But anyways, it means to say that women's or femmes are, like, seductive and deadly, and masculine or men's are, like, just straight aggressive rapist murderers, which is just not neither of these. I hate it. Stop it. Also, like, since Dren is, like, the human DNA in Dren is Elsa's, so is this, like, the most inbred type of bebe that's ever gonna happen? Because it's half Elsa, but then also half Elsa. Also, the other really gross and disgusting point that I don't really want to talk about is the Dren and Elsa scene at the end. Like, I hate it. I cannot express to you how much I fucking hate it. Like, when I saw this movie was on Netflix, I was like, oh shit, Splice, right? I think I already said that in the beginning. But then I watched it and I was like, I don't remember any of this. And it's because my brain blocked it out, because it's awful. It's bad. Listen. This is how they should have ended the movie. They should have ended it like, fine, keep in the Clive fucking his daughter scene. That's disgusting, but keep it. And then when she's dying and they think that she's dead, they do the science thing. They do one of two things. They do the science thing and they dissect her and then find out, oh shit, we just killed her because we dissected her. And then they have to live with that. Clive has to live with two things. He has to live with fucking his daughter and then also dissecting his daughter to death. And Elsa has to live with trying to protect people by disarming her daughter and then dissecting her daughter to death. And then after they do that, because they have to go through with it, they're scientists. Like, the whole point was to figure out what Dren could do for the world, right? So they finish that, and then they cremate her. They don't bury her, because somebody's gonna find those bones sometime, and somebody's gonna ask a whole fucking bunch of questions. Whether they're alive or not, somebody's gonna, like, hear about it. And it's not gonna be good. So that's option number one. Option number two is that they just straight cremate her and they find out that she was still alive, but then now she's dead because she's burned to death because they burnt her to death. And then that's how that works, because they didn't want to get caught. And again, somebody's gonna find them bones sometime. Also, I'd really like to know, like, who wanted this movie? Who was this movie for? The beginning parts were like, yeah, this is for me. This is my jam. I love science fiction shit like this. But, like, the barn roof scene that I've already talked about, where the movie starts going downhill. The second, like, they turn it from, like, yeah, science fiction and it's fun and who knows what gene splicing or whatever it is that they're doing can yield. And they turned it from that into Clive and Dren make a porno. I hate it. I hate it so much. Why did he have to fuck it? Like, why did he have to fuck his pseudo-daughter? I don't... But also I have, like, a question for you guys. Like, doesn't, like, Dren kind of look like Varg from Vikings?